Leg yield is about moving off your leg. So you have to get your horse to respond to the leg. You don't want to like be leaning to one side or the other. It's not a weight yield. It's not a lean yield. It's a leg yield. Hello everyone, I'm Amelia. Today's video is about the leg yield. And here is the $1 million question is, when you're riding a leg yield, do you weight your inside seat bone or your outside seat bone? So if you're not a member of Amelia's Dressage Club, check out the description box and click the link to join. Amelia's Dressage Club is like the most awesome group on Facebook. And recently someone asked this question of like, okay, I'm riding a leg yield. Should I be sitting on the inside seat bone or the outside seat bone? There were literally like 150 comments of people going back and forth. So clearly it's a highly debated question. And in this video, I'm going to demonstrate both ways of like sitting to the inside, sitting to the outside. And then I want you to, in the comment section, let me know which you think is better and which one you do, whether you sit on the inside seat bone or the outside seat bone. I will say that this is kind of a trick question because I don't know if there's a right or a wrong answer. My husband teaches it one way and I teach it the other way. So we're going to see which way works better. So the first thing, like if you're going to ride a leg yield, it's always really important that you first think about your trot. So like I'm just thinking about, I really need a nice working trot. I need my horse round. I need my horse connected. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn like between the quarter line and the center line and just ride a leg yield over to the left. And I'm going to start out by weighting my outside seat bone. So I'm going to kind of like lean over here to the left to get my horse to move over there to the left. So the argument, I guess, for doing the leg yield this way, let me show you again towards the camera. So the argument for doing the leg yield this way is that you're kind of like getting your weight over here and like leading the way over with your weight leaning. So that's the first way. Let me know in the comments if you lean over there to get your horse to leg yield. Now the second option is to weight your inside seat bone. So now I'm going to sit on my right seat bone and push my horse over to the left. So I'm sitting on my right seat bone and moving my horse over to the left. Let me show you that towards the camera again. So this is option 2, is weighting the inside seat bone and then moving my horse, good boy, over there. Good boy. Okay, so let me know in the comments which way you think is better. And then I'm going to tell you the way that I think is better. So here's the thing about riding is that whenever you're riding, you always want to stay in balance with your horse. So what I just showed you is too extreme. Both of those ways, like where I was like really keeling over to the side, it didn't look very good, right? Especially because I have this nice little jacket which shows you how crooked I was. So I really think that it's important in your leg yield. I just changed directions for my horse's sake. What I like to do is I like to think about pushing my horse over and then getting myself straight. Pushing my horse over and then getting straight above him. Pushing him over and then getting straight. So like I'm moving him over and then I'm recalibrating so that this line on the back of my shirt stays straight above him. Like I don't want to be leaning to one side or the other. I really want that line to stay straight above him. And I think that riding correctly is so much about balance. And if you're like keeling over to the side in your leg yield, it's really hard for your horse to stay balanced. So whether you said that you weight the inside seat bone or the outside seat bone, I think it's important to note that it's a very subtle thing. Like when you weight the seat bone, it's not like I demonstrated where I was like keeling over to the side because that looks terrible. It's a very subtle thing. Now, I'm going to show you the exact way that I like to do my leg yields. And I teach it that you put a little more weight on your inside seat bone. So if I'm going to do a leg yield off of my right leg to the left, my aids for that leg yield are right leg, a little more weight on my right seat bone, and left rein. So I'm going to think about stepping a little in my right stirrup, keeping connection on my left rein. The reason that I like to do it this way is because in the leg yield, what I'm doing is I'm trying to get his right hind leg to cross over and connect into the left rein. So in order to do that, like if I'm like thinking about putting a little more weight on the right seat bone, then I'm able to get my right leg and actually move him over. If you are leaning to the left in your leg yield, like if I do the leg yield and I think about weighting my outside seat bone, you see how that helps get his shoulder to move more over? But what happens is that it starts to draw up your right leg like this, and then you can't put your right leg on so much. So I would say if you're having trouble getting the shoulders to move over in the leg yield, that's when you might put your weight a little to the outside. But if you're having trouble getting the hind legs to move over, then you want to put your weight on the inside seat bone. Good boy. So like in everything in dressage, the answer to this question of do you weight the inside or the outside seat bone really depends on the horse, on the situation. But it's important to remember that dressage is all about balance and feel. And so you have to feel what your horse needs. It might be a little bit different left and right. You might have to weight your seat bone a little more or a little bit less, depending on the direction or depending on the moment. But you always want to go back to neutral, and neutral being where you are just even above your horse and straight above your horse. So again, the aids for my leg yield are left leg, right rein, and I'm thinking about just a little more weight in my left side than in my right side. Good boy. Good boy. So I hope that this clarifies for you guys the answer to that question. And one thing that's really important to remember is that leg yield is about moving off your leg. Like leg yield means leg, yielding to the leg. So you have to get your horse to respond to the leg. You don't want to like be leaning to one side or the other. It's not a weight yield. It's not a lean yield. It's a leg yield. So let me know in the comments if this was helpful, and I hope that it helped answer your questions. Be sure to join us on Facebook. If you have other dressage questions, that's a great place to ask, and it's an amazing community. So thanks so much for watching. Good job, Leo.